kid to hero with a spark in their eye. From kid to explorer reaching for the sky. Every story starts with a little heart today. Sunrise dreams are lighting up the way.
I'm Demi Velasquez.
I'm Steven Collazo, and we're from Sunrise Elementary.
Nice to
So-
meet you both.
Thanks. Nice to meet you. So, we are interviewing a special guest for Career Day. May you please state your name, job title, and where you're from?
Sure. My name is Alex Candelaria. I am an engineering manager, structural engineering, and I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, nice. Los Angeles. How is it there?
It's a little cloudy, but it's nice. No, we're very spoiled with the weather over here, but yeah, clouds will be breaking out soon, and the sun will be out, and then the dogs will be happy out in the yard.
That
Okay.
sounds very nice.
So, first things first. How long have you been working at this job?
So the position that I'm in now, I've only been in it for about 2.5 years, but my overall experience is about 27 years in engineering and design. So I've been doing it for a while.
27 years. How is it? You like it?
I've been enjoying it. One of the things that I particularly like about my journey to find a profession that I've enjoyed is that it gave me a chance to do a variety of different things. So as an engineer, structural engineering, there's everything around you is a structure. It could be a bicycle frame, it could be your house, it could be a building you go into. So I've worked on stuff from theme parks, like rides and stunt shows like at Universal Studios and Disneyland and places like that. I've done industrial work, like dirty work for refineries and oil companies. I've worked at the airport for building out the train system to carry passengers. And now I'm working with a group that all of your computer devices, microchips, and everything like that.
Yep.
I'm part of a team that supports all of our engineers and designers to build these large complexes, buildings, and everything to make computer chips.
Why did you choose this career? And what made you not choose any other career from this one?
That's a very, very, very good question. So, for example, when I went through grade school, middle school, high school, getting ready to figure out what in the heck am I going to do when I grow up, I was considering architecture. I was considering becoming a vet doctor, animal doctor, a variety of things. But what I found really interesting and exciting about structural engineering is that, like what I was describing, the types of projects I've worked on, there's a lot of different things that I could participate in. And so I liked that variety, because I guess maybe sometimes I could get a little bored after a while, but it remains exciting. But what I would really encourage is that you always keep looking for what keeps you interested and stay curious, right? So that's why I was able to hop around from working on theme parks and stunt shows, and I went into airport systems, and so now I get to try something else. But it was really to have a variety of things to do, because also there's certain jobs and there's certain industries that these jobs are in where it might be a little hard to find a job. And so I also wanted to give myself some flexibility to make it a little more competitive, where I could, hopefully find something to support myself and my family.
What are two skills that you really need for your job?
All right. Math is really important. So one of the things that we do as engineers, for example, is you want to build a structure that is going to be safe. So you need to understand math and science. And really, because, for example, Chaparral, you might have a lot of high winds that come through, right? Coming in off the area. Other parts of the country, you're going to have snow. Parts where I live, we have earthquakes. So we need to understand how these forces are going to behave on a house or a building, whatever it is that you're working on. So you use math and science to help you understand what those are like, and then you apply those as you learn how to work with different materials and work with different building codes to then figure out how you can build something where it's not just this big clunky block, but it still can resist being tipped over by high winds or an earthquake, or if you got a lot of snow on the roof, you don't want the roof to fall in. So you find ways that you could hold these things up, um, and you're using math and science very often for those types of things.
As an engineer, what type of job or like what type of things do you do in your job that you would say that you'd like?
Sure. So what I've always enjoyed being an engineer is that we get to solve problems. Um, I don't know if you like puzzles or you like games. They're all in this unique space of you have something going on here and maybe it needs to be fixed. Maybe it needs to be stronger. Maybe you're going to change the shape of something, right? Because you might change the building in a certain way. So it's really fascinating that there's always a problem to be solved, and it's first identifying what that problem is. So that also makes it a little more of a complicated puzzle to figure out, okay, well, what might be going on here? Does something need to be repaired? Does it need to be replaced? And so it's just getting opportunities to be creative, to find ways to build new things or to fix older things. And so it's just a lot of problem solving that I enjoy. I like to tinker. So this kind of goes into that same space of tinkering. And now what I do as an engineering manager, now I support my team to make sure that they have what they need to solve the problems that they're facing and trying to build stuff for our different clients.
Okay. So have you like moved anywhere? And if you have, how was it adjusting to building in new areas, like in different environments? So let's say you switched from a desert to more of just like a really rainy area. How was it switching?
It's a great question. So it's good to have an understanding of how a lot of these different environments are. One thing that's really important to understand is that when you're a part of a team, the nice thing is that you don't have to know everything because it's not everybody's going to know everything, right? And so
Yeah.
you might say, for example, if we were building something in the desert at first, and like for example, we have some work going on in Arizona right now where we're building out these big chip plants. The thing that's unique is that I may not know everything that's required with a lot of the heat that goes on. The thing about heat is that it causes metals to get larger and expand. So buildings will actually grow and shrink as the temperature changes. And so you need to know how to allow for that. So we might have somebody join the team who's more familiar with that. And the same thing goes like, say, if you're going to a place that has a lot of snow and ice, which we build a lot of things for our clients. So we'll also have teammates. I'll try to figure out how these things are and try to learn and understand how you prepare for these things. But it's also good to lean on your other teammates' talents. I'm sure each of you might have your own talent or your own skill that one of you might say, "Hey, you're really good at this. Let's do this together," right? And so
Yeah.
you find those opportunities to really get that group to work as best as it can using everybody's abilities.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. What would you rate your job on a scale of 1 to 10, and why?
1 to 10 for the reasons why I like it, or 1 to 10 for the reasons why maybe it's not so much fun.
You could choose what you wanna
I yeah
say of 1 to 10.
yeah I would say I would put it like about a 8.5 to a 9. Right now, I'm really excited with how things are going. I'm in a position where I get to help a lot of my teammates out. I could be designing tools. I could be building, um, not just building buildings out there, but now I can be building things that will help our team work better. And so it's given me a chance to explore a lot of new areas to manage the group that I get to work with. And what's really unique too, not unlike the way we're having this conversation now, you're in New Mexico, I'm in Los Angeles. From Los Angeles, I'm working with a team that's throughout all of the Southeast United States. So I've got teammates in Florida, uh, Arkansas, Virginia, they're in different parts of there. And then all the teammates come together working from different parts of the country. And we're even working on things internationally. So we really look at how best we can get everybody to work together. And that's one of the things that I'm enjoying now is finding new ways of doing things and improving ways that we are doing things that might be done a little better.
What colleges did you attend? Or colleges or college?
Sure. I attended Cal Poly Pomona. It's a technical school out here in California, really well known for their architecture and engineering programs. And I did both my Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering and my Master of Science I did later on when I wanted to get a little more specialty. And I mentioned civil engineering, and the thing is about structural engineering is that structural engineering is part of what civil engineering does. So I don't know if you may have noticed there might be somebody working out on a road. You'll see them there with a little scope and they're doing surveying. That's part of civil engineering. If you see somebody working on water features, moving around a lot of dirt to build houses, that's a lot of the earthwork. That's part of civil engineering. So there's four main areas in civil engineering. So it'd be your water works, streets and roads, structures, and then your environmental work. And so you got to get a chance to try out different classes in that whole family of engineering topics. But I focused on the structures, so learning how to use concrete, learning how to use steel. And so that's how we get to do some of that. But both the 2 degrees, and then I also took some exams, some really long exams. There's an 8-hour exam to make sure that you become an engineer in training, and then you continue to learn. And one of the things that I really encourage you as well is find the things that you continue to like and explore it. If there's something maybe you don't like about it, see what else there might be nearby, and you could maybe try something that's similar, or maybe try something entirely different just to see what things are out there that you haven't had a chance to get exposed to yet.
Well, since now that we know that your job title is being an engineer, what was your favorite project that you or your friends or your even workers made or created?
Sure. There's a few, but there's one in particular that I did for Universal Studios in Florida. If you can picture the front of a pirate ship, and I don't know if you can imagine on a pirate ship, there'll be like a carving of a person that's on the front of the ship as the ships are moving through the sea. And the idea was, it's the story of Sinbad. But what was really unique about this is that you had this stage, you're watching this show, and there's like an explosion, there's some distraction, everybody looks over here, and it's supposed to look like the carving comes to life. And the way they did that was we had that whole section of the ship in about maybe a couple of seconds, it turned. And so on one side was the carving, on the other side, hidden from the audience, was an actor dressed to look like the carving. So when all the smoke cleared, it had already switched over, and then they went in and they attacked him. So it was a really unique challenge because we built a wooden ship with steel framing, and then we had to have part of that ship turn really quickly, also to make sure that it was safe for the person who was acting as the character. And then they jumped off and, ran around and did part of the show. So that was really unique.
So, is there anything you would like to change about your job, or are you okay with what you're doing right now?
I'm glad you asked that, because right now I'm okay with it. But there was a while where I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And so if we had this conversation, say, maybe, wow, it's probably like closer to 10 years ago now, because the last 5 years was working at the airport, and that was pretty exciting. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy with things are, the team I get to work with, the things I get to do to support my team. And it's just a really great time to share ideas and try to come up with stuff to support our group. So no, things are pretty good right now.
Well, in like theme parks, when you said Universal Studios, do you work with roller coasters, or do you build them, or do you like fix any problems with them?
So when I was doing that, we wouldn't do the roller coasters, but I don't know if you've been to some of the rides where there might be a big blast of water or smoke gets thrown out or flames, or you might see like a mummy jump up. We would build those. The main roller coasters themselves, there's other companies that would design those, but the stuff that we were doing was more like for stunt shows and theme parks. So a plane that launches out into the water, machine guns firing. Those are the types of things that we did to for different theme parks. And so theme parks in Japan, theme parks in Florida, here in the United States, a lot of
Mhm.
those were those types of systems.
So, in Los Angeles, what troubles you like the most when you're building things?
It's expensive to build things. It's also an area that we have a lot of earthquakes. So unlike other places, you have to make sure that you understand, some buildings have to be stronger than others, like say schools and hospitals require a level of design that it performs better. So say, for example, if an earthquake came in and it shook a house really hard, you might maybe have some pictures fall off the wall, maybe some glass break, or even a window break or something, right? Um, but then you just clean it up and put it back together. But if you think about a hospital, and if you think about a school, students like yourselves, patients in the hospital, you need to have a higher performance level to make sure that you are not in danger. And so, one of the things in Los Angeles and a lot of the West Coast of the United States is that you have to make sure that you've designed for those types of natural events. And you just make sure that you're looking after life safety to make sure that nobody's going to get hurt.
Okay, well, an off-topic question: have you met any celebrities, and maybe and well, you have been working or off work?
Celebrities, let's see. Um, we see some every now and then. I've met like some band members, but like movie stars and anything like that living here in Los Angeles, you might see some people at a restaurant or they might be filming something, down the street and downtown. But I personally haven't really met any celebrities. So little disappointing.
So, what are like the subjects in school that helped you the most? Like for engineering, what subjects helped you the most?
So as I was mentioning math, there's a whole bunch of different math classes that you take. After algebra, you go into geometry, pre-algebra, calculus, and all of those. Um, Physics, you're going to take a lot of physics because you need to understand how um, the natural forces work and how do you work with them. You can really never hold everything back, right? Like you can't design everything for, the largest wave on the ocean or the biggest earthquake. So what you do is you try to find a way to work with it so that you reduce your damage. And then the other classes that we take are classes where you get to learn specifically about certain materials. How does wood behave? How do you design with wood? How do you design with steel and concrete? And so then this way you take all of those parts because you look around at a building, it's lots of different materials. So you get to learn a lot about how these materials, how you can depend on them and how you can use them the best.
Okay, so a question that I have and is, what advice would you give us kids to continue going in life to achieve our goals, or like just overall to do good?
I would say never grow up. Keep a little part of you that stays curious.
Mhm.
I personally like to say that I'm always in touch with my inner sixth grader because that inner sixth grader is always excited about stuff. You find humor, things are, you'll always find a way to make things where you could kind of like laugh at it or enjoy it a little more. Definitely keep your curiosity open to learn lots of
Mhm.
different things. There's a lot of people that we're around who might be able to share some experiences. Um, and really make sure that you look after yourself and those that are nearby, like your friends, family, people that you meet along the way, and take care of each other, right? So, in when you're taking a different class, when you're starting a different job, there's going to be a lot of people that you meet, and so hopefully those interactions will be positive and they'll be healthy, and you might make some friends out of school, out of work, but really look after what makes you happy and really what makes you enjoy what it is that you're doing. And if you find out that maybe you don't feel too good about it, some days you're going to feel a little less excited than others, and that's all part of moving along through it. But if you really find yourself where maybe things are kind of dragging along a little longer, talk to your friends about it. But more importantly, listen to yourself and what it is that you want to do next, because there's always something else that you can do, and you can really explore what's going to make you excited and happy again.
So, as we're wrapping up the interview, before we end it, can you tell us about yourself? Like, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Sure. So I like to run. I also run with a group where sometimes we'll dress in costumes and we'll go running around the city, goofing around. I like to build things around the house. So I'm always fixing things and building things. In the past, I like to paint. I like to sculpt. I like music, and so I'll go to concerts a lot, and I'll take my kids to see concerts, and so we like to do that quite a bit. We like to cook and have friends and family over, and just spend time together with each other. Um, and I also like to, I'm a PTA president. I like to still continue to do things with the school. So like what we're doing now, I like to find opportunities to have conversations like this and see, what's on people's minds and how I could share something that might be able to give a little idea as to some of the things that go on out there. So those are the hobbies that I like to do. It's a lot of projects around the house. We got dogs. We got 3 dogs. We've got a turtle. So we have pets. And what else do we do? Travel whenever we can. It's been a little while, but right now our youngest of 3 kids is in college, and our 2 youngest kids are in college, and so we're busy with them and helping them figure out what they're going to do next. I watch movies. Used to do some gaming.
Yes.
I don't game as much as I used to, but I probably should again because I miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you
thank you for
being
being our
our
special guest. And it was nice meeting you, and thank you for explaining to us your job title. It was great meeting you. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you both as well for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation and the questions, and I wish you both the very best of luck on everything that you choose to do. And I hope you enjoy doing it along the way.
You too. Have a nice day.
All right. Take care.
Take care, you too.
Bye bye.
From kids